5-2.
Can I do that again? I said big yourself after I felt so cringy after I said it.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. Welcome back to the Euro Roundup. We are here alive somehow.
Just about.
We had an FD party on Saturday and we've basically risen today. We died yesterday. Oh my
I'm not sure I've quite risen yet actually. It was a big night. It was a cracking night. Well organised, Zach, Temps and Kieran.
Mental. It was mad. But anyway, what happened the weekend was football happened. Football doesn't sleep, mate. And today,
no rest for the wicked.
We've got our Twitter beef. Doogie, what is it though?
Yeah, so this came from @AgentAssassin, and he said Pochettino cannot be considered a great manager until he wins a trophy. And this is obviously on the back of Spurs' FA Cup semi-final loss to Man United at the weekend. We're not going to go in depth on that game because we do it on winners and losers, so go and check that out after you've finished here. But we're asking, is there a serious problem there at Spurs? Pochettino's been there for 4 years, and Spurs are, as we all know, trophyless. They haven't won a trophy since 2008, which was a League Cup under, I believe, Juan de Ramos. They're obviously improving. They look like they're on the verge of becoming that great team we all know they can be. But they're slipping at the last. Recent title challenges against Leicester and Chelsea have fallen apart in the Premier League. They conceded 2 goals in 3 minutes versus Juve in the last 16 of the Champions League. After a really breakout campaign in the Champions League with victories over Real Madrid, I think they did the double over Dortmund. They looked like a serious team that belonged at that level. They've also had big results in the league. They've beaten Liverpool 4-1 at home, they beat United 2-1 at home, and they won 3-1 at Stamford Bridge. But in the big moments, when it really comes down to the crunch, they're slightly falling short. It wasn't a woeful performance by any means on Saturday, but that second half was very, very flat. Zach, how do you think people view Pochettino at the moment, and how will he be remembered?
It's hard because it does very much feel like they are there. They're just one win, or literally one trophy away from becoming the major team that we think they are and we know they can be. I think no matter what happens, if Pochettino doesn't win a trophy at Spurs, he has definitely set a foundation with the squad that he's built there.
100%.
The only issue I find is can they really keep that squad? You've already seen Toby Alderweireld looking like he's going to leave this season because he's not getting paid enough. Harry Kane, I think, is on £100,000 a week, which is mental if you think then Alexis Sanchez is at United and he's on over 300,000. Because at the end of the day, footballers, this is a job to them and they need to be earning the most amount of money they possibly can. And there's only so
relatively short lifespan.
Exactly, you're only a pro for, mate. If you've done 10 years as a pro, that's considered quite well. On top of that, they've just got a new stadium, so can they really afford to then go and pay Harry Kane 150 plus? So they might see their squad leave, which would be quite sad because if that was it and not a single one of them has won a trophy at Spurs, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
I think the best way to put it in is that Kyle Walker left them last season. He's won 2 trophies. He's on 130,000 a week, and I think only Hugo Lloris is the nearest Spurs player to that.
And no one would say that's a bad decision.
Exactly. Like, I wouldn't discredit him for moving. If anything, you agree. Do I think he is? Can he not be considered a great manager? No, I think that's rubbish. He is a great manager, but will they win another trophy in 2 years? Who knows? You'd like to think so. What do you guys think? Is Pochettino a great manager, or does he have to win a trophy before he can be considered one? Let us know in the poll above. Before we go to our first winner, I don't know, Diggs, if you saw on the weekend, FDFC had a bit of content come out. It was a personal mastermind with Del Piero. Did you see it?
I saw the teaser trailer. I'm going to watch it at lunch.
Well,
I'm very excited.
If you guys haven't seen it, here's a little teaser right now. Hope you enjoy it.
So welcome back, Football Daily, to another episode of Personal Mastermind. To my left here is a legend of the game, Champions League winner, World Cup winner, legend at Juventus, legend for Italy, legend for Sydney FC, for all you A-League fans out there. I know you're out there. But yeah, first of all, Alessandro, pleasure to meet you. This is an absolute dream.
We have some guests, we have some fly that want to be interviewed from you as well.
Right from one legend to another, GV Rajak suggested our first winner this week, and he went Barcelona, Zach.
Yes, Barcelona thrashed Montella's Sevilla 5-0 in the Copa del Rey final, winning the trophy for the 4th consecutive season. The first side to do so since Athletic Club in 1933, the year of John Benjamin Babb's birth. The aggregate, though, of those 4 finals, 13-2 to Barcelona, which quite frankly Amazing. It was writing on the wall though. Barca have now won 6 of their 7 finals they've played against Sevilla in all competitions. Their only defeat came in the 2006 UEFA Super Cup. Luis Suarez, the man, he was there again. He scored after just 14 minutes. He has now scored in all finals he has played for Barcelona, which spanned across 5 different competitions. Messi also got his 4th Copa del Rey final goal, spanning across 8 years, with the club winning every final which he has scored in. He now has 30 in 33 meetings against Sevilla, the most of any club he has faced, and has bagged his 40th for the season.
Just
he
a
does
casual
it again.
40.
Yeah, it's just that. It's like one season I score 40, one season I score 92 or whatever it is. Coutinho then rounded off the proceedings with a 69th minute penalty. Barca are yet to lose a game which he's featured in, and that's 16 games in total. It was a final though, but it was also a very special occasion, wasn't it, Dougie?
Yeah, it certainly was. We had this back in the background on the start of the house party, and it was a very sad game because it was Andres Iniesta's last final for the Blaugrana, as Barcelona's captain is set to move to China at the end of the season for that big final payday. And his goal elicited an enormous response in the Wanda Metropolitana. The 33-year-old was really sort of toying with the Sevilla backline at times on that left-hand side, and then scored with a lovely composed finish. He's second behind Xavi in Barcelona's all-time appearance record, making well over 700.
Oh my lord.
That's mental. But yeah, we want to know, what is your favourite Iniesta moment? Let us know in the comments below. I'd probably go for that goal in the 2010 World Cup final. And then you have the class to take his shirt off and reveal that Danny Harke, always with us, I think. Which just shows what a man he is in scoring a winning goal in a World Cup final and still remembering the loss of your mate. What a stand-up guy. But let us know in the comments below your favourite moment. But it wasn't a massive surprise, to be honest. Defensively, Sevilla have been awful this season, especially considering their European aspirations. Only 7 teams in La Liga have a worse goal difference, They're on minus 11. And considering there's, 4 games left of the season, that is worrying. So very much a pumping was on the cards. They've conceded around 13 shots a game on average this season in the league, but allowed Barcelona 17 here, with 9 coming on target. So it was a battering, but it could have been even worse. They need to pick up defensive reinforcements this summer for sure. Maybe someone from Eibar, who are only allowing 8.1 shots against them this season, which is very, very impressive indeed, especially for a supposedly lesser team. 5th, 6th and 7th in La Liga will get the Europa this season. Sevilla are currently 8th, behind Getafe on goal difference. They do have a game in hand though, so we want to know, will Sevilla secure Europa League football? Let us know in the comments down below.
We move on to our first loser, and this one comes from @Swagato Sakar, an FD legend.
Cheers, Swag.
Thank you very much. And he has suggested RB Leipzig. But why is that, Dukes?
Yeah, so they continue that really ropey form of this year. It hasn't been a good year for RB Leipzig compared to last. They lost 5-2 to Hoffenheim, which is the most goals they've conceded in one game this year. But despite that, it was actually quite a balanced game. Leipzig edged possession, they had 55%. They took 14 shots to Hoffenheim's 12 and got 8 on target to Hoffenheim's 7. But it was a bad day at the office all round. Emil Forsberg was sent off, and 3 of Hoffenheim's 5 goals came from errors from their own team. 2 from the goalkeeper Gulassi and 1 from centre-back Orban. Both of Leipzig's goals actually came from substitutes, so at least they were getting an impact off the bench. Naby Keita scored just 10 minutes after coming on, and Upamecano managed to bag a consolation goal in the dying minutes. That actually might be one of Naby Keita's last goals for Leipzig, sadly. So he'll be looking to end the season on a high. RB will find this hard as they needed 3 points to take over Hoffenheim in the table. They are now 6th, 3 points behind their opponents from this weekend. Zach, what else did you take from the game?
Well, you could have expected such a high-scoring game. The previous fixture finished 4-0, and Hoffenheim have only failed to score in 6 of their past 79 games in the Bundesliga, with Nagelsmann as their coach, who could be the new Arsenal manager next season.
Heavily linked over the weekend, wasn't he?
I'm pretty sure there've also been reports for Carlo Ancelotti, even a bit about Eddie Howe at Bournemouth. So Nagelsmann, I think, maybe one of the better
choices. Yeah. Sean Dyche.
But Pavel Kadabek managed to get on the score sheet. That was the midfielder's first goal for Hoffenheim in 77 Bundesliga appearances, so it's good to see him finally scoring. Serge Gnabry, an ex-Arsenal man, someone who also put a post out for Arsene Wenger saying "Merci Arsene." He was on fire actually. He took 2 shots, putting 1 on target, which was his goal, and made 4 tackles whilst playing up front. However, Talking about tackles, one massive shout out has to go to defender Kevin Akpumga, who made 16 tackles interceptions in the match.
That's
RB
crazy.
Leipzig made 16 tackles in general in the game, which is like unheard of. I've never seen anything like this.
Incredible.
It's incredible. On top of that,
McCubbin-esque at the Saturday's house party. Got one in on Chris Hamill as well. Not an interception, a straight up tackle.
just a two-footer. He would have been sent off, banned for 5 games. It was brilliant. But man of the match though went to 26-year-old Mark Uth, who netted twice and got an assist. He has now contributed to 21 goals this season, which is very impressive. He's also now scored 14 goals in the league, making him the second highest top scorer in the Bundesliga, scoring a goal every 138 minutes, though he needs to double that to be on level with Robin Lewandowski, who has 28 and is the top scorer. So
Which just shows how good his season's been. Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. But what do you guys think to RB Leipzig? Are they going to finish strong? Can they get into the Europa League, I guess, because they can't make the Champions League? Let us know in the comments below.
And we move on to our second winner, and it is Englishman Jadon Sancho. Thanks to @Ginge for that suggestion. Why is he being included there?
Well, he only went and banged his first goal for Dortmund, didn't he?
Yeah,
And
boy.
also got 2 assists as his side beat Bayer Leverkusen 4-0. The 18-year-old becomes the youngest ever Englishman to score in the Bundesliga. And even more impressive, given this, was his 4th start in senior football, full stop. So a very good day at the office for him. He started alongside Max Philippe and Christian Pulisic, meaning the Dortmund attack's average age was 20, which is quite frankly unbelievable. That's
a
frightening.
joke.
That's me.
Big future.
I'm basically Christian Pulisic right now, so that's it. That's what I've taken from that. Anyway, alongside his goals and assists, he had a very good game in general. He completed 3 dribbles, made 7 key passes, an 86% pass accuracy, and made 3 tackles and interceptions. I'm saying take him to the World Cup. Just do it, Gareth. Just have a bit, just bring it.
Yeah, I'm not
Just
sure
bring
whether
it.
we can really take a passenger,
Just
but I
bring
get
it.
your point of view. For experience, it would probably be useful, but I just think we need the best 25 players we can get. But at some of the other end of the scale, also had a very good game. Big shout out to Marco Reus for bagging a brace in just his 8th league appearance this season. That is a disaster for him. Poor guy, injury record is shocking. He has now got 7 goals in 16 appearances versus Leverkusen, and he probably should have had more as well. He hit the woodwork and missed a penalty, so it's a very busy day at the office for him. And the results puts BVB 3rd, 3 points ahead of Leverkusen in 4th, and they are now just 2 points behind Schalke after their rivals draw against bottom-placed Cologne. They travel to Werder Bremen next weekend, while Schalke host Mönchengladbach. But who will win the race for second? So we've got Schalke, Leverkusen, and BVB, of course. Let us know in the poll above. My money's on BVB.
Yeah, I'm saying Dortmund as well.
Saying Dortmund as
Come
well.
on, you. Come on, Dortmund.
Here we go. But let us know in the poll above who will finish second in the Bundesliga.
We go from saying Guten Tag to Buongiorno, as this one came
Quite
from
the
at
linguist.
Sifstar. It's AC Milan, Dukes.
Yeah, the Rossoneri lost 1-0 at home to bottom of the league Benevento. This result now means Milan are guaranteed to miss out on Champions League football for the 5th consecutive season. And they've just sort of fallen apart at the last. They haven't won in 6 games, with 4 draws and 2 losses. And they are the only team in Serie A not to beat Benevento this season, the league's whipping boys. The last game versus Benevento, I think their keeper scored late on to rescue a point, their first point of the season, I believe it was. And then this is their first away win of the season too. But they've actually not done slightly better in their last couple of games. Benevento have actually picked up 4 points in their last 2 away league matches, after having lost each of the previous 15. So just before they get relegated, they suddenly learned how to get a point away.
Give the fans something to cheer
Just
about.
in time. Milan absolutely dominated proceedings. They had 63% possession, 21 shots to Benevento's 5. Benevento's 1 shot on target went in. Milan managed 6 without a breakthrough, so you would say that's unlucky, but I mean, still, it's a massive shock result. £30 million flop, Andre Silva had another awful game. 1 shot, 1 dribble, 0 key passes, and no aerial duels won. Benevento were also down to 10 men in the last 10 minutes of the game, but Milan were not able to take any advantage of that. And it's just another damp squib of a season for Milan,
It's
considering
sad.
where they were last summer and what we expected of them.
It is. Like, the Rossoneri now are desperately fighting for Europa League football next season, with 5th place effectively sewn up. They're battling Atalanta for 6th. It's such a demise. I think this statement here just sums up how sad it is. AC Milan have spent more this summer than Benevento have in their entire history, and it's by some distance. I think in the summer we sort of expected, like, it was interesting. They brought in Kessie, they brought in Barini, was a bit more of an iffy one, but they brought in Silva from Porto, and they were spending big money. Well, yeah. You were hoping that this season they were going to try and challenge for the title. Bonucci as well. Like they got Donnarumma on another contract, and it's just gone tits up for them. The Milan hierarchy must really be regretting giving Gattuso that 3-year deal at the start of the month. A final shout-out, though, has to go to Benevento keeper Christian Paguni. The 37-year-old put in a man-of-match performance, making 6 saves and taking the most touches out of his whole squad on the pitch. Age is just a number. Milan, though, could save some face this season as they play Juve in the Coppa Italia final at the start of May. But they are against Juve, and they haven't beaten them once this season, so...
Doesn't look too good for Juve.
But if Napoli can do it, why can't they?
This is true.
So that's the end of ERU. Diggy here is going to have a glass of water because he's still hanging.
Yeah, probably a bit drunk.
But in the meantime, what are you going to do and what are they going to do?
Yeah, well, after this, go check out Winners and Losers, obviously, which dropped the hour before. Why don't you go over to 90+1 as well? Kieran made another comment show last week. They are very funny as ever. What about you, Zach?
I want them to go follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Give me the 2,000
Always
on
the
Instagram.
personal plug with us now.
Give me the 2,000 on Instagram. Then I can start getting my own merch involved. And then it's like the Zach Jello t-shirts, the Z Money t-shirts, and everything's happening. Just make me feel better about myself. Bye.